So, good evening to all. Well, here in Malta, it's 6 o'clock in the evening. So, I wanted to wish you all good evening. My name is James Perry. I am the CEO of FELTOM, and I will be doing the presentation today on Malta and the situation that we have in Malta. I'm just going to wait for just a couple of minutes because from the list there was more people who are going to join. So hi Nico, hi Maura, nice to see that everything is fine. Hi Monica. Um, I'm just going to wait literally 1 minute and we will start shortly. The aim of the presentation today is, in fact, to give you some information of the situation in Malta. And also, if you have any questions, I am not very good in reading while doing a presentation. So if it's okay with you, please write the questions. And as soon as there's the question time, I will be replying all your questions and answer them as best as I can. Um, so I think we can start. So once again, thank you for joining. I am James, I'm the CEO of FELTOM, and today I'm going to speak to you about Malta and the situation in Malta. Just to give you a general update, this was 2 days ago. I have called up, sorry, yes, Monica, I have a Christmas tree. It's November, I started decorating. So just to give you a bit the situation of Malta. Malta at the moment has a total of 8,000 and some more cases, 2,000 of which are active, and we have nearly 6,000 who are recovered fully with 98 fatalities. Why am I showing an overall? Because I think it is very important to understand, obviously, what numbers we're talking about when we're talking of Malta. And secondly, as well, it is important to see the overall pictures. When we, in fact, look at the situation, COVID situation, since the start, which is February, one can see that in March, our numbers were very low. There was a very minimal spread within the community, and it was very controlled. In fact, in June, most of the days in June, we were zero or close to zero infections, which did obviously then give the confidence for us to open our airports in July. As expected, obviously, as more people started coming, the infection rate started, and we are now at the moment on, let's say, our second wave. Normally, I say it's our first wave because, as you can see, the first March we've had very few cases, so for us, it's like our first big wave. However, the good thing about it is at the moment the numbers are getting down again, so to say. We reached a 220 mark on a particular day, but now they're going every day. It's about 100, 150, and hopefully going down as time passes. Obviously, part of the presentation, I would like to give you an understanding of the ELT industry of Malta and how it was impacted. As FELTOM, we commissioned 3 reports with Deloitte in order to keep tabs of the industry and to see what's happening. And this slide, in fact, was recorded part of the first and second report, where the first report was showing, which was done, I don't know if you can see, it's a very small here on the 6th of March. And the 6th of March, we were seeing 4,000, an approximate of 4,000 cancellations. So it was already quite a lot of cancellations, considering that we are talking of the end of February and that it started hitting hard Europe. By the 16th of March, the cancellations amounted to 20,000 cancellations. That is an average of 7,500 per week. So the industry in Malta obviously went, so to say, downhill very quickly. And our government on the 13th of March decided to shut our airport. This made it a bit harder, obviously, for our schools because there were no incoming students. Only the existing students were there. In fact, at the time, Deloitte said that Q2 and Q3 are out of the question. They're not going to be survival. That was at the time on the 16th of March. However, we commissioned Deloitte at a later stage when this was in July, I believe, when we had just started, and we did a full analysis with also the estimated amount arriving during our summer. In 1st of July, as I said, the airport was open, and when you look at the comparisons, one can see that the numbers are very different. We were estimating 60,500 less, 60,500 less for the year of 2020. When we considered 2019, we had 83,600, approximately of 83,600 students. So we are looking at a negative 72%. This, as I explained to you, this report was drawn up in July. If you remember from the graph slightly before July, then we had the numbers started increasing, and in fact the situation in August went worse. So these numbers are slightly worse than minus 72%. So we are looking at about minus 80% for 2020 from a numbers perspective. However, as I was explaining before, as of the July 1st, 2020, all commercial flights were open, and therefore flights to Malta started operating, obviously with a minimal charter. And like everywhere in the world, green, amber, and red lists were created. Obviously, I'm not going to go through the whole list, which are the green. However, I am presenting it here just for your references. When any country which is on our green list do not need any quarantine. It is important to note that in Malta we do not have quarantine till now, in the sense that if they arrive from the green list, they are fine. They do not need to quarantine, and they do not need a swab test on arrival. If they are on the amber list, and in fact I am providing you here with the latest update, which is on the 11th, they are expected to either get a swab test 72 hours prior to their arrival in Malta, or else they are subject to a swab test on arrival. At the moment, the swab tests are being done on a random basis, so the students or clients in general who come with a 72-hour swab test are passed through one corridor, the second ones are passed through another corridor, and sample testing is done. Obviously, the red lists are not allowed in Malta unless there is a situation or a charter, and if they do come, they would need to quarantine. That is the only quarantine criteria that we have. It is important to note that as measures, Malta has adopted the following. And on the 16th of October, mask wearing is compulsory, even outside places or offices. Bars and clubs have to be closed shut by 11 p.m. In fact, this has been updated, and bars and clubs, I apologize about this, because bars and clubs are closed till end of this month. Restaurants have not been affected. There are fines, obviously, that are being ad- charged to people who are breaking um, these mask wearing. Public gathering is of a maximum of six people, and social distancing is enforced at all times. Um, Something which is very interesting, obviously, when on the 1st of July, when the government opened the airport, our schools were asked to open as well. And for this reason, the ELT Council, which Felton in fact forms part of, spoke with the health department in order to issue protocols. And I believe this is the most important thing um, um, to note for everybody who is traveling to Malta, that the schools have protocols that they need to follow in order to ensure the safety of the client and also the viability of students arriving, since we are obviously open. Um, the first one, and obviously, I think it's basic for all worldwide, are the proper ventilation. Air conditions should be used according to hygiene, public health department. The other four are based on recommendations given, like general hygiene recommendations, daily operation procedures, sanitization of the school itself, and health procedures to be followed if someone is sick. In this presentation, in fact, I have listed down the main points. It's quite a long list, so I will not be going through it. However, if you need more information, please feel free. At the last slide, I have, in fact, my email address, please feel free. But as you can see, like general hygiene recommendations are the recommendation of wearing masks at all times, social distancing, no touching. I think we've heard them so many times, but the schools must follow them. And from an ELT council perspective, they need to ensure that they are following them. Daily operation, no students must be tested for fever, temperature, no unauthorized people to join. Staff are recommended not to work in more than one school. Food are to be used in disposable containers when possible. Outdoor spaces are encouraged. When you look at the daily sanitization, obviously checking of the staff and the school from a temperature perspective, sanitizing the classrooms at least once a day, it must be fully sanitized, wiping down banisters, and so on and so forth. Um, and I think that the last part, sorry, this continues with sanitization. And the last part of it, though, is the health procedures, which I must say that over the summer, some schools unfortunately had to make sure that this is utilized because they had some cases. It was while we were open, obviously, there are students who are attending, and it is a possibility. However, I must admit that it was the way they were handled very well, and they were handled in a way that the classes can continue switching from hybrid classes to online classes, isolating groups. And this could be done, obviously, for only one reason, because there was the protocols in place, such as an isolation room, disinfections, disinfecting of the rooms itself, isolating of staff, staff being checked for COVID infections, closing of areas, and so on and so forth. Um, so an important advancement that we are doing, myself, I am part of the Malta Tourism Authority Board, and an important advancement that we are working at the moment is the rapid testing system. So Malta is going to adopt a rapid testing system, which will will ensure that all arrivals and departures will be tested for COVID. This will give a bit of a safety of mind, because ensuring that if arrivals arrive with a test, obviously they need to quarantine and they need to be checked. And if they're leaving, then and they are positive, they will not be allowed to leave. And the government, in fact, is offering accommodation, free accommodation, in order to ensure that they are well recovered until they are free from COVID. I think this gives a bit of a ray of light, so to say, to our industry, the fact that there is the safety element that you can go and check and be checked before entering or departing our island. Um, okay, let's talk about visas. So, one of the questions that was asked for me to look at is visa issues, obviously. Um, Students that were stuck in Malta during the first wave were given an automatic extension for their visa until they have flight back homes or repatriating flights. Um, when it came to restarting the economy 1st of July, restarting the schools, students were given the option if they want, since the schools had closed down, they were given the option to extend their visa and continue their course at the time. So this gave an easier, so to say, situation for the students that got stuck here. When it comes to third country national visas, it was most of the third country national embassies are at the moment not processing visas. There are various reasons from a government perspective. However, all Schengen countries that fall within the 3 month no needing of a visa can enter our island with no problem, as long as they are based in a green or amber list. I know there are some countries, like, for example, Brazil and Colombia, that at the moment are trying to send students. What the government is saying is that if they have a flight within Europe, they would need to stay in the country before coming to Malta. So let's say you're passing through Turkey, which is on our green list. You have to stay for 2 weeks in Turkey and then can fly to Malta with no problem whatsoever. So these are the situations that are being done in order to fly in. If you fly in through a green or an amber list, obviously then you have to follow the amber, which is the testing 72 hours and so on and so forth. Um, the other countries, however, for Turkey nationals, in fact, that do not um, have the visa issued, the visa center open, what we have done ourselves together with the government is issued the possibility of visas being processed in Malta. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, starting 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, um, we started processing the Turkish visas as a pilot project. And this project is doing quite well, to be honest. And we have had talks this week in order to look at possibilities of even extending it for other countries if required and if flights are available. So this is a bit of good news as well, and this is what we are looking at. The countries which are under the Schengen agreement that want to travel, maybe want to come to study Malta for 6 months. However, Schengen only obviously gives them 3 month the 3 month visa. Extensions are done then locally. So as we used to do in the past. So as soon as they come, they would apply locally, and they'll get the extension once they're here. Um, Obviously, the way forward, as I told you, one of our reports with Deloitte, one of our researches with Deloitte was this one way forward. We are, as an industry, I think we are hearing it over and over again that we are very resilient as an industry, and we're trying hard in order to ensure that there's an industry to come back to. As a federation, we have been voicing our opinion quite extensively with government and government officials, and we have been working hard in order to ensure that the industry is being heard. And obviously, what we proposed is one is the substance of the schools, giving assistance to schools, whether in wage supplements, whether in tax deferrals, whether it's assistance, direct assistance. And second is the promotion side, so assisting in promoting in quarter one, quarter two of 2020, and then continue obviously quarter three, quarter four more extensively, hoping that the vaccine will be sorted and therefore will show a bit of normality or whatever normality is going to be at the time. So as a federation, we have been pushing towards the first part, which is the assistance. And we are, in fact, now looking at our next proposal when it comes to marketing quarter one, quarter two, and also giving incentives for agents and also for students who would like to travel. Our intention is that if this is accepted, obviously there will be more possibilities to present Malta in a better light, so to say, and then an advantageous light, especially since everybody is struggling financially. So if there is an incentive, obviously that will always help. Obviously, my next slide does any questions. So I know I can see there are two questions. And one was thanks. Okay, the green list say 15 days, and I answered the question. So, Karin, I don't know if there are any more questions. I'm going to go through quickly through the chat. How long the? Okay, in fact, Keith answered yes. The test is free. That is done at the airport, and even the rapid test that they will be doing as well is going to be free. So this is something. This is going to start the rapid test. So according to the information that I have, we are looking at within the coming 2 weeks that the rapid tests are planning to start. So we are hoping that within 2 weeks we will have information confirmed. I know they started testing the rapid test. In fact, they have a rapid test center in one of our hospitals, and they have started testing in order to see its efficiency and results, and it is working quite well. Maura, with regards to your question, yes, we've already had some Brazilians coming into Malta, I believe last month, and they went through various airports. They went either to France, although at the moment France is on our amber list, and through Turkey. So the situation, what they're doing is some of them are going through, and others are staying there for 14 days, in fact, waiting and then coming through to Malta. If they are there for 14 days, they can fill in the self-declaration that they've been there for 14 days and they are allowed in. And then that's good. Let's hope that we get started. I don't know if you have any more questions that you would like to ask. I know my time is nearly up. I hope you found obviously the presentation useful. If you would like any more questions, please feel free. I am writing my email on the chat. So please feel free to contact me. Thank for long. They can say to it. Yes, I do agree with you. In fact, the students, sorry, I was reading the question. Obviously, if they're staying for long, it's fine for them to stay 2 weeks extra. But if not, yes, you are right. In fact, the students that are coming in at the moment are 4 to 6 month students, the students who would like to stay here for a longer period of time. I think my time is up. Thank you very much all for attending. I hope you found this useful. please feel free to send me an email. Um, and if I can help in any way, we are here to help. That is why the Federation is there. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks.